Now we're going to work on another of the fundamental pieces of vocabulary for Argentine tango, and that is a molinete, where the follower is moving around the leader. I guess we can just show briefly what that is. Movements where the leader is in place and the follower is moving around the leader. And just to say a little bit about, as we head into this, in this dance there's a lot of awareness of axis. And what that means, so Lori and I are facing each other, we have an axis, a vertical imaginary line going through each one of us. And in the parallel dancing at the beginning, when we move, both our axes, or whatever the word is, are moving simultaneously the same direction. We take a step, we're both moving through space. When we did the ochos, there was pivoting on the follower's axis and a little bit of rotation on my axis as well, pivoting and then still moving together one direction or the other. There can be pivoting for the leader, and then the molinete is beginning a step where one of us is moving around the other. So my axis becomes the center point of the turn.
He's the center of the universe.
There are other steps that go where I move around the follower's axis, and lots of permutations of those combinations where there's a little bit of movement for me and more movement for the follower. When we did the rock step turn, that was what was happening. Lori was taking a bigger step around me, and I was taking a side step. So just this awareness of axis is really helpful as we do more dancing, to be aware of each other's axes and how we move through space and time together.
Hey.
Yeah.
And part of that comes from that presence in your body, one of the 5 fundamentals. Being aware of where you are in space, having that connection to the floor and to your core is what helps you create that axis. And when my lead has a clear axis and when I have a clear axis, that conversation becomes very alive and facile.
And yeah, a lot of potential for dynamic combinations come out of that.
Possibility.
So we'll start with a little follower's technique.
Yes.
What's going to happen?
So the molinete is a step that, it's one of the few steps where it doesn't have to be specifically led in terms of what our feet are doing. It's suggested, it's invited, and in that moment, as a follow, I will go into this combination of steps, starting anywhere in the pattern. And the pattern is basically a grapevine pattern. And it starts anywhere. I'm going to start with a side step, and then I'll do front, side, back, side. I can go either way. Side, back, side, front, side, back, or side, front, side. So it's just an alternating step. And when I'm doing that step, I'm staying focused forward on my partner. So my focus is here. I allow my body to move, to accommodate the pivoting that I need to do, at the same time maintaining Patrick as the center of my world. Right?
Yeah.
So when I do that, the side step is very simple. Here I am, it's a side step. I'm right in front of my partner. When I pivot to take the front step, I let my hips change. I let my hips turn to the side, and I open up my hips, and I step forward. And then I come back to side step, and then I go through collection, and I go back step. And you can see how I've opened up my chest, keeping my focus forward, which makes a little more sense when I do this with Patrick. So when you're practicing this, it's really nice to...
Do kind of diagonal here.
Okay. It's really nice to... thank you. It's really nice to just do it in a practice position, which is where the lead offers his hands, the follow puts her elbows or his elbows in the offered hands and rests their hands here. So in this practice now, I'm going to be leading, and Patrick is helping to create stability for me. And I'm just going to practice going around in the grapevine step, the molinete step around Patrick. So I do a side step. My side step is around Patrick. I step forward, crossing. I step side again right in front of Patrick. I twist, I pivot all the way around, and I step back around Patrick. So each step, I'm making an effort to go around Patrick. He is the axis that I'm moving around. I'm passing through collection as I do this. Side, back, side, front. And you can see each place I'm passing through collection. And I can stop and go the other way. Front, side, back, side, front, side, back, side. That's the basis of Molinete. I'm trying to keep my relationship to Patrick, much as we did in Tango play. I'm trying to stay right in front of him. I am stepping around him when I'm stepping, and I'm really allowing my body to line up with him and then pivot as I step. Pivot, pivot, step, pivot. And that's kind of the fun of it, getting all that twisting in there. So when I'm dancing with Patrick, if he starts to go around, I will go into that step with whatever foot is free. So if I'm standing on my right foot and he starts to invite me around, then I'll step with a cross step. If I'm standing on my left foot, he invites me around, I'll start with a side step. The possibilities are endless.
Yes.
Yeah.
So from this practice position, then we can do keep doing the same thing, but then I can start to initiate it or lead it. And the simplest way is just for me to start turning. And to be clear, I'm turning my whole body around my own axis. I'm trying not to do the kind of pivoting we were doing with ochos at this point, but just rotating around my axis. So like Lori said, whatever foot I'm on, if I start turning, Lori will take care of herself. She'll do what she needs to do to stay in front of me and connected to me. It's an easy place to stop on one of her side steps and reverse direction, go the other way. And notice what I'm doing now is I'm basically just trying to step with her. Whatever foot she's on, I'm just turning and stepping in place. I'm kind of exaggerating it right now. Side step's a good place to stop, go the other direction. Trying to keep my posture nice, my core connected, and really feeling my own axis just rotating around right through the center of my own spine. Yay.
Yay.
So that pattern then we can take to close embrace.
To close embrace?
To open embrace.
Right, to a regular embrace.
To a regular embrace. And again, maybe taking a few steps and walking, not worrying too much about how smoothly we get into it. From a pause point, I can start turning. In this case, if I go this way, Lori's on that foot. It can be helpful if I pivot her a little bit just to get started. Instead of just flat going, then she has to make up her mind which way she's going to go.
Which I'm quite willing to do.
Which she can, but if I give her a little rotation this way, starting on her forward step, then it's very easy. Or if we stop in a side step here, I give her a little pivot to take a back step, that could be the beginning of it. Stepping with her on each step. Same thing on this side, I can start this way. From this collection point, give a little bit of turn, allow her to take her front step forward. So at the beginning, if I'm just stepping on every step she's on, we will end up in whatever system we started in. If we're in parallel system, we're just walking, pause, I start turning and stepping. We're going to stay in that parallel system as long as we step together the whole time. Okay. If we're in cross system, say we're doing ochos, back and forth, any one of these steps, again, the back step, since she's already rotating and going back, that can easily become the back step of the Molinete. And I'm going to still step with her, but more in place. I step with her, she goes around, she takes another back step around the other side, and that can be right back into our ocho pattern again. So the difference being when I'm leading an ocho, I'm inviting Lori to pivot, and then we're both moving sideways through space, sideways through space. When I want to turn that ocho into a Molinete, I step, but I stay in place and start turning around my axis, and she goes around me. At the very end, she's still going around my axis, but if I step out with her, we're back to ochos again.
This is one of the reasons that place of possibility where I'm on my axis in that pivot is so important, because here I can go anywhere. If I've decided already to go here to the side in ocho instead of around Patrick in a Molinete, then we lose that possibility. If I stay on my axis, collected in pivot and waiting aware of what the invitation is going to be, then I can follow that invitation. That invitation.
That's right. So once we've done this a few times, we start to move more fluidly together. There's a pattern that happens often in the Molinete where there's a quick, slow pattern. So we've been walking it where every step's on a slow beat, step, step, step. And it's lovely with slow music to do a very slow Molinete like this. Direction. There's also a pattern where whenever the follower is transferring onto her back step, that's going to be the first of a quick, slow pattern. Where if I turn faster, she's going to go quick, slow, slow, and again, quick, slow, slow.
Pivot.
Fast, slow, slow. Same thing the other way. There's the side step before the back step, and I know it's time to kind of accelerate a little bit. Quick, slow, slow, quick, slow, slow. It's a lovely pattern, and when it starts to flow smoothly, it almost happens spontaneously, where that quick, slow becomes almost easier to do than the slow pattern.
It's fun to play. It's fun to feel that difference, and it's nice when the leads are aware how much work we're doing in that back step. So side step is easy. The back step, actually, let's do it this way. I want to do a front step first. So side step, front step is easy. I'm just stepping forward, right? Another side step, really easy. When I collect to go to the back step, I need to pivot all the way around, reach back around Patrick to make that step. So that's why that step needs a little more thought and consideration by both partners.
And certainly more energy on your part. Like you really have to activate to do.
Yeah. So Molinete is the step that we go into when we're invited to go around our partner, and they're the axis. And one of the lovely parts of that is feeling us moving inside of what we often refer to as the cylinder, or a cylinder of energy. So when we're dancing and Patrick invites me around in the Molinete, I'm really feeling this kind of energy that we're both inside this circle. I'm aware of my back coming around Patrick. I'm aware of his back coming around towards me. So really feeling like I'm inside of that. That helps keep my feet on the floor in a circle around Patrick. If I get outside of the cylinder, I start to move away, and my steps can be a little challenging for both of us to maintain the circle that we're moving inside of. It's kind of yummy. So there, with that cylinder of energy, I feel like in an open embrace, I have a very close connection, similar to a close embrace.
Yeah, and it's similar with me. I can like throw my energy out, or let my embrace go out, or feel like I'm leading out here, and that's the same thing as leaving that cylinder. So I'm trying to keep my energy contained in that circle to stay connected with Lori.